shit.
Ghostly apparitions, starvation and suicide await the most haunted team in Salford.
Oh my God, I've got no head.
Hello and welcome to Most Haunted. The manor house behind me is so haunted that every room has spiritual activity. But the entities don't just reside inside the hall, they also roam the grounds with unexplained noises, strange smells and full apparitions. I just had to bring you to Ordsall Hall. Lying in the shadow of the redeveloped Salford Quays, Ordsall Hall presents us with a giant leap back in time. Originally a moated building, it can be dated as far back as 1177, and for 3 centuries it housed one of northwest England's most notable families. It has served the local community in many guises, and legend has it that in 1605 Guy Fawkes hatched the infamous and ill-fated gunpowder plot within these very walls.
Ordsall Hall goes back to the 12th century. It's probably one of the best preserved timber-framed halls in the whole of the country. And of course, this place is haunted. You wouldn't have a building that goes back as far as this does, with all the trials and trauma that went on in the place, without it having ghosts.
There are 3 apparitions seen in here, the Great Hall. A white lady has been seen, supposedly the ghost of a girl with a broken heart. She committed suicide by throwing herself off that top balcony, where the ghost of a monk has also been seen. Another girl ghost has been seen down here so many times that she's become friendly with 2 of the people that used to live here.
When we was children, my sister and I, Anne, we used to come and play in here. My dad was the caretaker, and we made friends with a lady called Celery. She was our playmate, a lovely lady. We didn't know she was a ghost. But she played with us for up to about 11 years. Very nice she was. When I was very ill, when I was a little girl, she actually come and sat with me in, on the bed. I didn't realise at the time, but they did think I was actually dying.
Here in the Agecroft Gallery, heavy, ghostly footsteps are often heard, but there's one strange occurrence that stands out more than any of the others. A security camera that's activated by movement continuously moves towards these portraits. Could it be something that's activating it, or the portraits themselves? And it's not just here that strange, ghostly things are happening in the building.
Smells in the bedroom, in the Star Chamber. It smells like about 10 tramps has just walked into the room. It's unwashed bodies smell.
But in the Great Hall, the smells in there that you get sometimes are absolutely beautiful. Lavenders, roses, that sort of smell. It's gorgeous.
Here in the attic room, many people have the unexplained feelings of depression and terror. Dragging sounds are often heard coming from underneath these stairs in the entrance hall. A door is often heard opening and shutting when no one is here in the exhibition area. So do the ghosts roam along the corridors here at Ordsall Hall, or is it just an old creaky house? We have 24 hours to find out.
Parapsychologist Kieran O'Keefe will be joining our investigation in Salford. As ever, his role will be to objectively monitor any phenomena that the team encounters.
Ordsall Hall is a really unusual place because it's sort of this massive manor house that's sort of set in the middle of a busy city centre. Do you think that's going to have any effect on us this evening?
Yeah, I think we've got to be very conscious of any extraneous auditory phenomena that apparently occurs, but we could attribute to traffic going past. There's also some commercial centres just on the other side of the hall. So yeah, we've got to be very wary of that.
You've got this new gadget thing. What is that?
This is a tri-field meter. It actually has sensors for temperature, air pressure, light density and EMF field.
So it'd be interesting to see how this actually works tonight.
Yeah. I'm also very excited because I've already done a walk around with Ian Lawman, measuring environmental factors at the same time. And it'd be interesting to see that the information he came up with in various rooms is verified or corroborated by Derek later on.
When the crew and I arrived on site, we thought it seemed quite a tranquil place and not at all frightening, which seems strange given its reputation. We invited mediums Derek Okora and Ian Lawman to join us for the investigation, and with everyone intrigued as to what the night would hold, it was time to unravel the mysteries of Ordsall Hall.
Since walking into this lovely hall, there are certain energies that are being transmitted from the residual energies, and as I'm walking across the floors now, I'm not saying I've got an impatient spirit person, but a person that seems to want to be seen, I feel, maybe even heard. And I pick up a very, very good soul. It's a female, it's a lady. And this lady, in actual fact, just by standing here now, you know, see these steps that lead up to this, like, small gallery. I feel as if her energies at times walk that stairwell. This lady who comes here, I feel she's very, very, very serene, very, can I use the word regal? Or a feeling of regal about her. And yes, I don't want to say a queen or a princess. I just feel she's got this way about her. And I feel she's in visitation regularly.
Okay.
However, coming up these stairs, I also picked up a very, very different sort of energy that's here, that's got nothing to do with this serene lady. And I feel as if there's been a lot of hate, a lot of energies of negativity here on this area.
Just in the balcony area there?
Yes.
Not so much in here?
No, I feel more so here.
Okay.
And I feel as if, you know...
Who's standing here? So?
Yeah. I feel as if here, for some reason, we would have had a lot of anxieties, a lot of anxiousness of people. And, do you know, I can sense this at this moment, as if people lost their lives here in some manner. Now, I don't know at this moment, I may be able to find out a little bit later on.
So you're talking quite a few people?
Yes.
More so than just natural?
Yes, absolutely. And I feel as if they, because it makes me feel weak, and it makes me feel as if I'm toppling over here for some reason. Now, I don't know if people were actually hung or strung up from here, this area, and down. I'm not really sure on this.
Why have you suddenly started speaking very quietly?
Because I feel as if there's like a feeling of torment, different than the good lady, and it's like this last feeling of, oh no, and then as if their lives had been taken, as if they've just, it was like as if their spirit was broken at this point, and as if what's coming now is...
The information that Derek has provided here is very interesting when compared with Ian Lawman's earlier walk around with Kieran.
I sense somebody swinging.
Right.
So I feel that somebody would have hung themselves here as well.
A suicide?
A suicide, yeah.
Both psychics appear to be picking up on the same tragic occurrence.
The lady that walked these stairs,
Yeah.
could she be connected with the feeling that you're picking up here?
No,
or
not
she's
so.
separate?
It's separate altogether.
Is there any way of you asking your spirit guide Sam to give us a name for this lady?
Can you give me a name, Sam, please? Is she actually here in the atmosphere? Sam says she's been walking about. She is in visitation. She's been interested in maybe watching the crew today before I arrived. And I don't feel there's any negative feeling from her. I feel she's inquisitive, wanting to know who everyone is and why they're here in her place. In her place.
So this was once her home?
Apparently so. Who? Margaret? Margaret. Sam says she was broken-hearted. She was broken-hearted. She couldn't accept something that had happened. She just couldn't accept it. When did she pass over, Sam? When did she leave her physical? 9 in the July. In the July.
In the July. And was it natural? Did she pass over naturally?
Why did she pass, Sam? She became reclusive. She went in with herself, and she could not come to terms with a death. And I feel, the only way I can describe it, my feelings as if I was just like broken in feeling. I just feel as if she just shriveled away. She didn't want to know.
After some research, we discovered that Derek may have been describing the tragic demise of Margaret Radcliffe, a maid of honour to Elizabeth I. She starved herself to death in November 1599, unable to get over the loss of her twin brother, Alexander, 3 months earlier. Many believe that Margaret is the White Lady, but as our investigation continued, we started to suspect she wasn't the only spirit roaming this ancient building.
We have the remains of a young child. I was shitting my pants
As our investigation in Salford gathers pace, I suggested that we go to the Star Chamber. One of the more disturbing rooms here at Ordsall Hall, it is characterised by the frequent sound of footsteps and the pungent odour of rotting flesh.
It's a lot cooler in here.
Yes, absolutely, yes. Now, this is going to seem absolutely strange. We come in and here's a bed and what have you. But whilst just coming into this energy here now at the moment, on the residual energy again, it was, as we walked through that doorway, what come past me was a lot of very small children. Children rushing past me or my energies, past yourselves. And I feel the lovely lady comes in here as well. The lovely lady I've been talking about.
Up the walks, the stairs.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel whether this belongs to her or not, I wouldn't know at this point, but I feel her energy comes in here. Without a doubt. The energies of the name Sir John comes here. He comes here.
Does Sir John reside here?
Oh, there's a lady now.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's, in her presence, her energy, she's not so, she's rather abruptive manner. I can't pronounce that. I don't know even if it's a name. It sounds like Viv Anna. Viv Anna. Margaret and Vivanna. It's like as if these two ladies see each other in their spirit bodies and pass each other, and they're not in any kind of communication with each other.
Okay.
She is a Radcliffe. There was a lot of... What? There was a lot of things going on. The child, in her era. The child, yes, okay. In Vivanna's time, she'd be aware of something to do with a secrecy, a cover-up, something to do, oh, bless, of a child being taken and the child hurt, and then the child, take it off me, and the child being slain here.
It seems that the Radcliffe's family's presence here for over 3 centuries has certainly left its mark. With so many spirits apparently residing here, all of the most haunted crew were starting to feel quite uneasy, and as we prepared our cameras for night vision filming, we decided to visit a room which has had very few paranormal incidents. But it didn't take Derek long before he was able to reveal some shocking new insights into the history of Ordsall Hall.
Right, okay. Just as we've entered the energies of this room, I just feel as if I want to cry. I'm not going to physically cry, but I feel that way. because what seemed to be replaying back to me here from the energies is of a crying and a screeching and a screaming of a young child, a boy child, who was, I just feel, got hold of, taken, dragged, and virtually almost to be knocked, I feel, unconscious. And it's disgusting. It's horrible. And I just feel, can I just walk over to these energies here? Oh, God. God. I just feel as if I've got this hopelessness. And as I say that, I feel as if I'm looking above, and then I'm looking down. And I feel as if something wants to, not physically take my legs, but make me aware that, quite openly, I'll tell you what I experienced. I experienced a taking off from this area, like a decapitation. And right here, I feel as if we have conditions below of the remains of a young child.
What's the name of the young child?
I'll ask now about this one. Okay. Can you give me, please, Sam, please, it's most important, bless. Inquire if you don't know yourself. Now, Sam, as I'm asking this, he's just given me something, and he just 17, very clearly, 1704, 1704.
When the boy died?
I feel it must be a connection with this boy. Oh, the master covered up the slaying of this boy from the person who was either a servant, something serving the master. Who is the master, please? Who is it? Can you give me both names? John? Is it Scott? Stock. John Stock was the master. And, it's just coming up here from me here, on my legs. That boy's remains is underneath here. I feel this child, the spirit of this child moves about on a regular basis.
What's the name of the child?
James.
James.
Can you give me, please? Oldroyd.
James Oldroyd.
James Oldroyd. Same name as his father.
What's his age when he died?
I feel that this little one wouldn't have been any more than 5 or 6.
Okay.
His life was taken from him. It was barbaric the way this was done. Oh, why am I smelling that? It is also, there's a connection with this, because I can, in this residual energy coming out, because I'm involving myself in it, I feel as if I'm getting bales. This will sound crazy, but I'm getting bales and bales of cotton. Now, they don't belong here, but for some reason I just seem to be housed. And there's cotton all around me here.
Right.
Cotton, bales, and the smell of cotton. And this little boy would have been around those conditions.
Can I ask you something specific about the ground?
Yes.
I don't know how clear you get the energy from the ground, but could you kind of walk around the edge of it? I mean, you say it's around here somewhere, but is there any way you could...
Okay, just if I can walk back into it, because once you get round close to it, the energy stops there. Stops also there. It's centred here.
Okay.
Centred here. The strongest at that level here.
Okay.
Do you know who killed him?
A man with the hook. The man with the hook. Show me the hand and the hook. It's with the bales. He did it to him. And that's how he did. That's how he took his arm. Oh, God. I can get his energy. This man, were very, very, I suppose for a man in physique, not tall, would be about 5'2", 5'3", stockily built, very strong forearms, no hair here, but a lot of hair, length, stinking. I get the cotton smell, but I also get leather smell for some reason. And you won't believe this, but I'm also getting sheep. I don't know why I'm getting sheep with bales of this cotton, but I'm getting mixed residual energies coming in and then coming back out at me. And oh no, okay. There was another who walks the building, thank you, Sam, who knows the truth behind this slaughter, this innocent slaughter. And they've said, or Sam has just mentioned, as we walk into the areas, this man's energies will be there and he will do his best to give me those mental images and whatever can be said, because there's also this other spirit man who visits.
Both the crew and members of staff were distressed to hear the story of James's violent death. Ordsall Hall was starting to take on a more sinister character, and we were all unnerved by the possibility that some form of spirit entity might try and contact us tonight. Little did we know that our worst fears would soon be confirmed.
Do you want us to help you?
Richard.
Oh, shit.
Our investigation at Ordsall Hall in Salford had provided us with some very surprising evidence. Derek has indicated the presence of spirits from the Radcliffe family, particularly the regal but tragic figure of Margaret. But more worryingly, he has suggested that in early 1700s, a young boy called James was murdered here and buried beneath the kitchen floor. As we moved through the building, I was anxious for Derek to try and reveal more about who he thought was involved in this hideous crime.
Is there any particular spirit that walks in this area?
There's a number of them, Ivy.
But is there any grounded here that walk in this particular area?
We've got one that hasn't even been mentioned, okay? That is grounded here.
Right.
His attitude, I mentioned earlier on, there's a man to be talked about. And since we've come up here, can we go into that atmosphere there?
Yeah.
Just for a short space, because I feel as if we're drawn in here as well. And I don't feel the soul, when he was here in the physical body, was a very temperate sort of soul. In actual fact, very agitated, very non-disciplined of mind, and a person that could lose control and get very, very angry and woe-betide anyone that was around when he did. And I feel that residual energy of thought still here with this person.
Who was that person?
Who was that, Sam? Richard. Thank you, bless you.
Richard who?
Richard who? Richard Allsop. Richard, it sounds like Allsop. Richard Allsop.
And when was he here? What period of time?
When was he here, please? Bless. Thank you, try. Come on, please, keep going. 1764.
1764.
1764.
Do we know what he did, what his connection was with the property?
What was he, Sam? What was he with the property? He had strong ownership. I feel when he passed to the world of spirit, meaning leaving this physical body, I feel there were a lot of things that were playing on the soul's mind, and when he actually left the physical body, he, like in his thoughts, I feel it's like unfinished business. And I feel there's also a strong connection with, before he actually left his physical body, I know now that Sam said, moved, there's a person whose knowledge of the child.
And this is he?
No. Sorry, forgive me. forgive me, he is the one that left his physical body, so-called gone to death, knowing the truth behind who slaughtered the little boy.
Yes.
And I feel it was a person. It's like, explain it to me a bit more, Sam. When Richard Ordsall took over this building, he had it passed to him, told to him about this physical death.
Have you got a strong link with Sam about this,
I can
Richard?
hear him.
Yeah?
Yes.
Is there any chance, you know, for additional verification, you can find out, for example, who the previous owner was, who told Richard this information?
Okay, who was the previous owner, please? Thank you. John Stock. John Stock. And a discussion must have been said to him through these two. And he must have promised him not to bring this revelation out.
So although Derek has been unable to identify James's murderer, he has uncovered what he believes to be a conspiracy of silence between two previous owners. It seemed like a good time to proceed with the night vigils, and it was Stuart who bravely volunteered to investigate the storage room at the top of the building.
Right, here I am on my own in one of the halls upstairs. I'm not actually sure of the name of this particular hall that I'm stood in now. All that I do know is that other members of the crew have actually gone away and doing vigils now. They're nowhere near me, so I can't hear them and they can't hear me. So there has been sightings and there has been smells. People have smelt things like rotting flesh, or they've smelt like perfume and other odours as such. So far I've not really smelt anything, and I've not felt anything. Is there anybody here in this room with me tonight? If there is, please let yourself be known to me. My name's Stuart. I don't know what your name is, but if you'd like to tell me your name, please feel free and do so. Right. Now, as soon as I said, was there anybody here, I actually heard two tapping noises. If that was you making that tapping noise, could you please do it again so I know I wasn't hearing things? There we go. Okay. If that was you, can you please make that sound again? Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. It may not seem much, but actually being here on my own, oh, fuck, it's absolutely scary. I'm actually shitting my pants now.
What was recorded on tape here was one of the eeriest responses we have witnessed on Most Haunted. This inexplicable sound was a very peculiar and confounded any reasonable explanation. As Stuart made a quick exit, Carl was beginning his vigil in the south of the building. Would he experience anything that would confirm some form of spirit communication?
I'm in what used to be the oak panelled room that's now just a beautiful ceiling, as you can see above me, and nothing but brick walls. There's something that's very scary about it, which is a little bit off-putting, I suppose. Is there anybody here in this room with me? Shit. Shit. Is there anyone over there by the fireplace that wants to make themselves known to me? Ooh. just here to try to understand you. Please, please, show yourself again to me as a light source. Or try to walk in front of the fireplace. Oh, thank you. Wow. Please, please try to show yourself to me just one more time. Wow.
When Carl returns to see Stuart, it quickly becomes clear that they have had a very similar experience. A question closely followed by a response. In the solar room on the east side of the hall, Alex and Rachel are joined by psychic Ian Lawman. Will he be able to shed light on who or what is trying to communicate with us?
Do you sense anything in here, Ian?
It's a little boy.
Just got an orb right by you. Do you have a name for the boy? So is James with us now?
Come on, James, make a noise.
Some reason. It seems quite blurry. Yeah.
Blurry in here.
Yeah.
That's energy, that's a build-up of energy.
But it's. But I didn't feel it when I first came in here. Oh my god, that's really fucking weird. As I said that to you, this like thing went across it.
The strange dark shadow can clearly be seen moving in from the right and back again. Ian Lawman has had no discussions with Derek during the filming of this programme. However, they have both now identified the presence of a boy called James. This, combined with the apparent responses some of our team are getting when asking direct questions, makes us all think that Ordsall Hall is starting to show its true colours.
Oh, fuck.
Has she gone?
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our night at Ordsall Hall was proving very eventful. The lone vigils had made us all suspect that an attempt was being made to contact us. So later that evening, Ian returned to the solar room with Kieran, Tom and myself. He wanted to perform an ancient ritual called scrying, whereby water is poured down a reflective surface, in this case a mirror, in an attempt to evoke the image of any spirits present.
Spirit within this room, within this building, we invite you to join us here. We ask of you to give us a sign, to give us a noise, or to show yourself within this mirror.
Oh, it's horrible. It's like seeing a really old face.
But describe your face. If you see wrinkles or...
Yeah.
Just
Like
concentrate.
very deep set eyes, very wrinkly face. My face is disappearing, then comes back.
Keep looking. You're transfigurating.
I can't. It's freaking me out a bit, to be honest.
Keep showing yourself, Spirit.
Oh, I'm not liking this at all.
No?
My face will goes completely blank, and then it's my face just looks, it keeps changing, like different shapes. Oh.
You alright?
Mhm.
Do you want to stop?
What's the noise?
What noise? Like a moan?
Breathing or something.
I heard like a...
That's what I heard. Spirit within this room, I'm inviting you to talk, to give us a sound, to show your face in the mirror, or just make any noise to prove that your life goes on.
My face has disappeared. That is so weird.
Your
My
hair's
face
looking grey.
I get the impression that you have a moustache. Quite a long moustache. My whole face is... Oh my God, I've got no head. Now I've come back. Is that supposed to happen?
Yeah, it's transfiguration.
Yeah, but...
Spirits showing themselves to you. Oh yeah, she's got... her face is a lot longer and her nose is broader and longer.
Oof.
Our first ever experience of scrying had a profound effect on me. Seeing the gaunt image of a woman reflected back was a very emotional moment.
Happy job?
Nearly.
It's a happy job.
We had been presented with the possible presence of several spirits, and it was felt that table tipping could represent our clearest means yet to communicate beyond the grave. We gathered in the Great Hall and placed a cork in water to detect any movement. 2 specific names have so far been prominent during our investigation, but would the spiritual energy of Margaret, James, or anyone else decide to come forward?
Please don't be frightened. We don't mean you any harm. Give us a sign. Try and knock on the table. Please do something. Is there somebody here now? Please, can you move this table?
I feel we're being listened to, Evie. I've not felt anyone approach the circle as yet.
Margaret Radcliffe, are you here with us? Are you the spirit of the White Lady that died of a broken heart, that starved yourself to death? Margaret Radcliffe, are you here with us now? Is it your spirit that's in this building? Please, please move the table. We believe that you starved yourself to death and died at Hampton Court. But we believe that you come back here to this building that you loved, your family home. We have 2 spirit mediums with us here in the circle that are here to help you if you want help. But you have to give us a sign to let us know. Do you want us to help you?
Richard.
Oh,
That's great.
carry on.
Again, ask her.
Margaret, we know it's you. We know you're here. And you've told us that you want help. You're trapped here in this, your family home. Did you die of a broken heart? Did you kill yourself, starve yourself to death because of the loss of your beloved brother Alexander? Thank you. Margaret, we're asking you to help us help you. Are you in contact with your brother Alexander? Right, you are. That's wonderful. Does Alexander come here as well? He does. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. Are the 2 of you happy? Are you happy here in this environment? I presume the 2 of you are almost as one, being twins. Yeah, you are. That's fantastic. Thank you very much.
Are we standing up again?
I'm becoming quite emotional at this stage.
You all right?
I'm fine, yeah. Margaret and Alexander, you're obviously as one. We want to help you. All you need to do is to go to the light, to look for the light and go.
Okay.
Will you be able to take Alexander with you?
Do you want them to send you to the light now? Do you want to go now, Margaret?
Margaret, I ask of you to walk into the light of love that you can see above you, and giving you all the happiness that you truly deserve. I ask of your love to follow into that light, where your friends and family and guides and inspirers are helping you, to give you the counselling, to give you the motivation to move on into your next level of life. Keep walking forward, Margaret. As the door closes behind you, you are now greeted, and with open arms, your family, friends and loved ones. You now rest in peace, with the love of God and all the people within this circle. Amen.
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 She's released herself.
You all right, Richard?
Yeah. God.
Has she gone?
Yeah.
You all right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Just talk about emotion. I was crying.
Are you?
I was.
Has she gone?
Yeah.
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 It had been an emotionally exhausting experience for all of us. We had witnessed several incidents of what seemed to be spiritual communication, along with some surprising agreement between the psychics. Most notably, that relating to the murdered boy. And we had ended our night with a successful experiment in table tipping. We had been monitoring each room continuously, and although no other incidents were recorded, our investigation in Salford had been extremely productive, and a night some of us might want to forget.
Ordsall Hall, fascinating place, and, well, haunted. Very, after last night. Stuart and Carl both picking up noises, light anomalies, and the fascinating thing about Carl's vigil is the fact that when he asked the orbs to appear, they did.
I've tried to walk in front of the fireplace. Oh, thank you.
In one of the rooms, Carl actually saw an orb. Other orbs appeared on command, I believe 3 times. After that, when Carl requested for more phenomena, there was a creaking sound.
Shit.
The sceptical explanation would be that we're simply dealing with coincidence.
Derek picked up on a little boy that was murdered and buried under the cellar floor. There is no record of it at all, but that doesn't mean to say it didn't happen.
It's centred here.
Okay.
Centred here.
The only way you'd ever find out, of course, I suppose, is to dig the floor up, but I don't think they'll let us do that.
Give us a sign. Try and knock on the table.
Table tilting, gosh, it did work, because we actually had it moving across the floor. And the fact that we picked up on Margaret and her brother Alexander, the twins, and the fact that she was the ghost, we've almost established definitely that she is the White Lady of Ordsall Hall.
The movement of the table was very impressive. I'm very impressed with these experiments that the team are doing and the phenomena that they appear to be capturing on film. In future investigations, there are more controls that can be put into place to ensure there's no unconscious or conscious fraud at work.
My face just looks... it keeps changing.
In one of the rooms in the investigation last night, Yvette actually attempted some scrying. There was a huge mirror and water was poured onto the mirror, and she looked into it, stared into it for a long period of time, attempting to communicate with spirit or see some sort of physical manifestation of spirit. It's a very ancient technique, and it certainly spooked Yvette greatly. There are a lot of psychological principles at work here, but mainly if you think about the sort of environment in which the scrying is working, it's a very, very dark room. You're staring into a mirror for a very, very long period of time, which is a very unnatural thing to do. Your eyes will go in and out of focus, you'll have no depth perception, and generally your eyes and your mind will start to play tricks on you. And that's certainly what happened last night.
Appearances can be deceptive, and Ordsall Hall had provided further proof that a pleasant exterior can shield us from the hideous pain and suffering that lies inside. Until next time, sleep tight.
For a chance to go to the Science Museum's IMAX cinema for a spooky film in 3D, have a private ghost walk with Most Haunted Live's Richard Jones, and spend the night at Langham Hotel, just log on to livingtv.co.uk/competitions and answer this simple question. In the latest series, the Most Haunted team visited which European country that's associated with tulips? A. Switzerland, B. Portugal, or C. Holland? But stay tuned to Living TV, because coming next, it's Most Haunted Extra.